Bartell out here in Tahoe today.
Hope to see you on the back road.
The future and beyond!
You've heard of the term hell on earth?
That's a really deep hole!
Ah, my butt! From the deserts of San Diego to the snow-covered mountains of the Sierra, animals in California live in some pretty extreme conditions. John Bartell here. Over the next half hour, we're gonna take a look at some of those animals that I've encountered on the Backroads. And what better place to do it than the Sacramento Zoo? So let's get right to it here. This first animal is not necessarily a California native, but it sure does like the weather. Let's head over to Ramona, California, to the Oasis Camel Dairy. Nearly 1/5 of the land in San Diego County looks like this. The Anza Borrego Desert. It's hard to imagine anything would want to live here, but this arid land is home to longhorn sheep, deer, and numerous wildflowers. And just over the Laguna Mountains, you'll find another kind of desert-dwelling animal. This is the Oasis Camel Dairy in Ramona, California. What are we looking at here?
We have the one-hump camels right over here. They're the hot desert camels. They do really good in this area. This is pretty much like their natural habitat.
Gil Wrangler and his wife are the proud owners of 24 dromedary camels. You know, the one-hump kind.
Camels come from Arabia, these camels. There's one-hump camels, they come from the hot desert. Two-hump camels come from the cold desert.
Not only do the one-hump camels like the hot San Diego desert, they're also the ideal breed of camel for milk production. You're actually milking these camels?
Yes, I am. Right now I'm milking one camel. I milk Knuckles and we make our products.
The camel milk at Oasis Dairy is not for drinking. It's used in lotions and soaps.
The lotion has 10% camel's milk in it. We milk, right now we're milking Knuckles, and then her milk goes into this lotion.
Education is a big part of Oasis Camel Dairy. Every month, they open up the ranch to visitors. And for obvious reasons, visiting day is the camel's favorite day.
They just love attention. They want to be petted. They seek it out.
Of course, a trip to the Camel Dairy wouldn't be complete without a ride on the camels.
Lean back, lean back.
That is, that was a trip right there. You won't find this next animal anywhere near the desert. The California banana slug needs the rainforest of the redwoods to survive. Next stop, Santa Cruz, where the banana slug is the local mascot. Sammy the banana slug, UC Santa Cruz's colorful mascot.
Some of the locals weren't too pleased with the decision, but if you ask me, it's one of the coolest mascots out there.
So how fast can these guys go?
So these guys are actually pretty quick little suckers. They can go about 35 feet in an hour, and then it's got a mouth which has more teeth in it than a great white shark.
That's a lot of teeth.
Thousands and thousands of little tiny teeth.
Steve is a ranger at Henry Cowell State Park in Santa Cruz, and he loves to impress people with his banana slug knowledge.
The whole bottom part of the banana slug we call the foot. And that's what it uses to move. It just kind of undulates along like that.
Does that look like a foot to you? All right, so some facts are more impressive than others, like this fun fact.
And they actually have, believe it or not, one of the largest penis to body size ratios in the animal kingdom.
Huh, that's something special to have.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, Steve does not share that fact with kids. Big teeth, big body parts, and a protective slime layer. It's no wonder that UC Santa Cruz chose the banana slug as their mascot. This slug has virtually no predators. So the banana slug's main predator or worst enemy, I guess, is just no moisture.
Yeah, that would be a good way to put it.
This next animal doesn't leave a slime trail, but as you'll see, what it does leave behind isn't much better. Every year, the Eastern Sierra is inundated with thousands of mules for the annual Bishop Mule Days. Every Memorial Day since 1969, the town of Bishop is inundated with thousands of mules for none other than the annual Mule Days celebration.
And once a mule is taught something to be done right, they never forget it, and they repetitiously will do it over and over again.
Event announcer Bob TALLMAN explains mules were an essential part of early living in the Eastern Sierra. Gold miners, farmers, and industries of all kinds used mules. Mule Days is part mule parade, part skills test, and part Wild West show. What is the difference between a mule and a donkey?
Well, a mule is a half of a horse and half of a donkey.
Overnight, the town of Bishop turns from a population of about 3,700 to 30,000 people. The 6-day event is Mule Mania. Trainers, packers, and riders are everywhere.
They're going right for that mess right there.
And you know what else is everywhere? What are we looking at here?
Well, you're looking at a pile of poo.
While everyone else is out showing and glowing, Hall of Fame mule owner PJ Allen is cleaning up after her mules, Jip and Jude.
The object is to get that pile of poo into that bucket.
Here in Bishop, it's not a polite thing to just stand around and watch someone else do all the work. Good thing for me, PJ is a superb teacher.
You got this, John. You can definitely come to work for us. Well, if this TV thing don't work out for you, you can come to the back of Beyond and
I might have to just tell my boss. Yeah.
Yep.
The Eastern Sierra is a rough and rugged region of California, and at least in these parts, there's no better animal to have with you than a mule. Just make sure you watch your step. Mules are great for packing up gear to the snow line, but when the snow gets too deep, sled dogs take over. In Plumas County, dog sleds are a great way to get around in the snowy backroads. Alyssa is not your average sled dog musher, and she's not actually formally trained, and neither is anyone in her family.
I've been dog sledding for 18 years, since I was 11 years old. Easy, just wait.
Today, Alyssa's taking the dogs out for a short run through the Plumas Eureka State Park. It's just outside the little town of Johnsville.
My first long race was a 100-mile race, and it was a big wake-up call, and I didn't finish it. You guys ready? Let's go.
Someday, Alyssa will finish that 100-mile race, but for now, dog sledding is therapy. It's a release from life.
It's just dead silent and so peaceful, and there's no distractions, and it's just you and your dogs.
And just like that, it's quiet again. From the back of the sled, you can hear the hypnotic huffing and puffing from the dog's breath, and the hiss from the wood skis against the snow. The land here is wild. It's unforgiving, and it takes a tough spirit to break through the silence of these mountains.
It toughens you up. It teaches you self-reliance and confidence, and totally brought me out of my depression. It gives you something to get up and go do in the morning.
Furry yaks, fluffy ostriches, and slimy oysters. Those animals and more coming up after the break. But while you wait, head over to abc10.com/backroads and check out our interactive map. It helps you plan your own road trip. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back. You're watching Bartell's Backroads. We're taking a look at some of California's bizarre animals. When you think yaks, you probably think the Himalayan mountains, but if you take a trip to Sierra County, there's a herd of yaks just outside the little town of Calpine.
Take out the papers and the trash.
Don't talk back.
Yakety yak, yakety yak.
This is Sierra Valley Yak Ranch,
Hey, yak!
home to some of the happiest yaks in California.
Don't talk back.
So it started as a joke that Jenna took a little too far.
Just like everyone else in Sierra County, Jenna and Greg Gatto were cattle ranchers.
Called Jenna up and said, Jenna, what do you think about yaks?
And I said, what's a yak?
But then in 2015, Jenna and Greg decided to diversify the herd.
She got on Wikipedia, and about 2 weeks later, she said, we're going to Idaho, we're getting a yak.
The yak is native to the Himalayas, often found in high altitudes. Turns out that Calpine, California is pretty similar. All right, so the thing you want to really watch out for here, a lot of yak poop. That's you, you're messy. Greg and Jenna's yaks are pampered yaks. One of the perks of living on the farm is regular pedicures.
Let's see if we can trim some of that back heel.
Trim there. After a little hoof trim, it's time to milk the yak. We're getting really personal. The ostrich is the largest land bird, and it's native to Africa, but a flock of ostriches are laying massive eggs in Santa Barbara County. Next stop, Ostrich Land.
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird.
Welcome to Ostrich Land, USA, Santa Barbara County's premier big bird sanctuary.
The black ones with orange beaks are the males, and then the brown ones with the brown beaks are the females.
CODY Perry is a self-proclaimed ostrich wrangler. He has a number of jobs here, but his main job is egg collection. I mean, how big of an egg is this, like, on the plate? Will this cover the plate?
This will for sure cover the plate. I would say this is equivalent to like 18 to 24 chicken eggs.
Just to give you some perspective on the size, here's a human baby holding an ostrich egg.
It's kind of hard to tell which one it is because we have a couple males that do that.
He just does that all day long?
All day, yeah. He loves the truck.
When CODY says the ostrich loves the truck, he really means it.
This is like a male ostrich dance. He's trying to attract the female, and right now he's trying to attract us, so.
I'm not sure what that says about CODY and I, but I can see how the birds get confused. You see, CODY's a nice guy, but he does handle a lot of eggs. Not to mention, CODY helps hatch the birds in an incubator. Often, he's the first person they see.
We have 3 babies out there that are 9 months old. They do not look like babies.
They don't look, okay, so they grow up quick. Not only is Ostrich Land a great place for selfies, it's also a great place to learn a thing or two about big birds. From ostrich eggs to oysters, we're heading out to Marin County to farm mollusks. Next stop, Hog Island Oyster Company. This is the Hog Island oyster fields, and John Finger is the owner and farmer.
But you know, we get growth almost year round here, but see this leading edge? That's like putting another ring down of a tree.
An oyster is a mollusk, but in a way, they're a lot like a tree. When they're young, oysters go through a seed stage, and when they grow up, they filter water, just like a tree filters air. So these guys are actually cleaning the water?
Yes, exactly.
After about 2 years of cleaning the Tamales Bay, the Hog Island oysters take a vacation of sorts. If you ask me, the best part of oyster harvest is quality control.
Taste the ocean.
It's salty.
It's the terroir.
The terroir. Terroir is just a fancy word for the location that the oysters were grown in.
Oysters will be reflective of whatever bay they're grown in.
The time and the tide wait for no one in the Tamales Bay. And because of that, the unique taste of its waters is reflected in the oysters that live here. So the next time you slurp down an oyster, remind yourself how hard it was to harvest them. Want to create your own road trip? Just head over to abc10.com/backroads and check out our interactive map. When we come back, love is in the air over at San Mateo County. It's elephant seal mating season. Hey, John Bartell here. You're watching Bartell's Backroads, and we're taking a look at California's diversity of animals. And we've come to the romantic part of the show. Every year at Año Nuevo State Park, loud love songs resonate throughout the beach. Those love ballads coming from these guys, elephant seals. There's something romantic about the Pescadero coastline. And you know, if you listen closely, you can almost hear a love song resonate in the air.
Love is in the air every winter. The mating peak is, funnily enough, around Valentine's Day.
The love call you're hearing are those of elephant seals at Año Nuevo State Park. He is just really
aggressive. Yeah. So in his mind, the more he hits her and slams her, he's going to keep her still.
All right, so this is not the traditional love story you're used to seeing. When the mating season comes to an end, a new season starts, but I'm gonna let Kristen tell you what it is.
I was calling it Wiener Wonderland.
Wiener Wonderland.
And that is what we refer to our park in the March.
From this point on, the weaned pups will have to learn to swim and survive on their own. But most importantly, they have to learn to avoid the males.
When he's running, everything becomes a speed bump.
The elephant seals were severely hunted and actually declared extinct 3 different times. If it wasn't for a few surviving seals and some intense rehabilitation efforts, the elephant seals probably wouldn't be here today.
Estimates have the seals at over 200,000 in existence right now.
The birds and the bees get a lot of attention during mating season, so I wanted to give some love to the newts. Next stop, I'm gonna head over to San Mateo County to Filoli Garden. Oh, you're loud. You may know them as salamanders, but biologist Paul Litch calls them by their scientific name.
Pterica granulosa, the rough-skinned newt.
During the mating season, newts live in the water, but when they're not mating, they live somewhere in the woods.
If you turn over a wet log or something, you might find one, but I can assure you I've turned over tons of log. I never found a newt.
Newts are very slow amphibians, and they only come out of the woods when it rains. But for some odd reason, the newts that live in the Filoli live in this pond year-round.
And this is unusual to see, for me, to see so many.
During the mating season, it's not uncommon to see the newts in what's called a mating ball.
In the middle of this will be a female. You can't see her. She's covered with males.
Eventually, the stronger male will woo the female, and she'll allow him to fertilize her eggs.
Gotcha.
During the mating season, newts are vulnerable to predators, but for good reasons. Most animals, including Paul, don't dare touch the newt.
Because I don't want to stress them because it's the poisonous kind and they produce a lot of toxin on their skin.
While newts are poisonous, they're only dangerous if ingested.
Don't kiss them, don't lick them, keep them out of your mouth.
There's still a whole lot more Backroads to come, so stay with us. When we come back, we head over to the queen bee capital of the nation. Hey, John Bartell here. We're nearing the end of our journey checking out some bizarre animals in California. This next animal is technically an insect, the honeybee. It's a major pollinator in the state. And in Glenn County, there's one town that claims to be the queen bee capital. If you're looking to send a postcard from small town America, look no further than Orland, California. It's a charming farming town, and the people here treat bees like royalty.
Pretty much the queens are the rock stars. Trust me, we've got a lot of divas in the neighborhood.
I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots.
Orland, California is queen bee capital of North America. Not this queen bee, but these queen bees.
But really, it's all about the queens for this company.
Terry Carr operates the Honey Bee Discovery Center, a museum dedicated to beekeeping in Glenn County, a county that sells around 200,000 queen bees every year. It's a pretty big deal, especially if you like to eat.
Every third bite of food that you eat requires pollination in some form.
Well, you know what they say, you can't make honey without getting stung. Are they gonna be mad when we open this thing up?
Yes, because they're queenless.
Gotcha. Gomez is a fearless beekeeper, and he doesn't need a suit to show me how queens are made. Okay, so what are these ladies doing here right now?
They're taking care of her, capping her.
To make the queen, Gomez puts individual larvae into a hive that has no queen. The worker bees then start feeding those larvae something called royal jelly. A healthy queen bee can live 3 to 5 years. Her babies, on the other hand, will grow up and die after a few months. That's why it's important to have plenty of queen bees around.
The world would not have the food supply that it has without the honeybee.
Well, if you like these road trip ideas, you can create a trip of your own. Just head over to abc10.com/backroads and check out the interactive map. And hey, if you guys got any ideas on where I should go next, just send me a message on my Facebook or Instagram. I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the back road.